Autistic individuals are often very clumsy, lack spatial and body awareness, and have poor balance. Now, I've always been very clumsy, and when I was younger, my parents were always telling me to be careful when I was doing things, or, to stop rushing around because they knew how clumsy I was and how accident prone I could be. I have always had trouble with balance. I am always catching my clothes on handles and always banging into doors and bumping myself. And this is just part of my autism and something that is a little less known. Now, I think one of the reasons why I'm always so clumsy is because I lack spatial awareness. And when I was younger, for example, things like riding a bike took me a lot longer to do or to learn than some of my friends. Because, for instance, I found it very hard to get off the bike once I was on it. And I also struggled to signal left and right because I found balance really difficult. Now, growing up and throughout my life, I didn't really realise that these things were related to my autism. And it was only after reading an article that said how people with autism can often be very clumsy that I realised that these things were actually traits of my autism. And it's something that I've now read a lot about. Something else that's related that people with autism may struggle with is coordination. And I know when I was at school, lots of my friends had trouble with, for example, catching a ball when they were playing rounders or cricket. And things such as fine motor skills can also be a challenge. So things like, I know a lot of people with autism find skills like tying shoelaces or buttoning a shirt very difficult. Now, these are all things that I still struggle with because autism is something that I will have for the rest of my life. However, I have found many ways of, coping with these little challenges and ways of being less clumsy and less accident prone. So I'm still very accident prone and I will still often bang into things or catch my clothes on a door handle. But, I have found ways of coping with these things. And this is something that's a less well known trait of autism.